And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
All right, Melody, pop quiz. How do you spell the name of this game?
Capital C, capital V, I, L. I don't know.
CVlizations. This is from the same company, Grana, who made the game CV. So this is a game that they obviously CVlization, except they put an at and an infinity sign over the I. Have fun trying to find that one when you search for it on the internet. This is a game about building a civilization. Actually, it's about making ideas. Actually, it's about playing cards and collecting resources. Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. You'll see. The game of CVlizations takes place over 3 eras. Each of those eras is made up of 3 turns. Now, on those turns, players are going to be using a hand of cards that they have. Each player has their own color. Apparently, you should not be expecting these. But anyhow, you have these cards, and you have a certain number of cards. And what you'll do on each turn of the game is one person will go first, each round. Whoever goes first has this helmet. And the first person is going to pick one card from their hand and play it face up. They'll pick another card from their hand and play it face down. Each other player will do the same thing, playing one card face up and then one card face down. After everyone has done that, the cards are revealed. The cards then are done in a turn order, which unfortunately isn't in the game as like a reference card. It's in the rule book, but after a while, it's pretty easy. The most important thing is that the thieving card is first. But you'll do the cards in order. Each person will do them. If there's some problem, the person with this hat goes first, etc. So what do the cards do? Well, before I talk about what the cards do, there's a discussion on how they work. Each card is going to do an action, but that action is based on how many other people have done that card. So, for example here, quarrying, which gives me stone. This one, if I'm the only person to play it, I get 2 stone. If 2 people have played the card, I will get 3 stone. And if 3 or more have played the card, then I will only get 1 stone. So I want 2 people exactly to play the card, if possible. Logging is the same way, except it gives you wood pieces. Hunting is the same way, except it gives you food pieces. Apparently, you're hunting for cheese. Cunning gives you the resource of your choice. You can take 1 resource of your choice. If 2 people do it, 2 resources of your choice. But if 3 or more people do this, nothing happens. Trading lets you trade a resource into 3 other resources, or 1 into 2 other resources. This one's the best one. This one's best if you do it by yourself, or if 3 or more, change 1 into 1. Stealing, you can steal cards from other people. This lets you steal 1 from someone else, or you can steal 1 from 2 different people. Or again, if 3 or more people steal, nothing. Slacking is a way to simply get happiness, or in this game, victory points. You get 1 if you're the only person to do it, 2 if 2 people do it, and if 3 people do it, nothing. And finally, a doubling card, which if you're the only person to do it, or only 2 people did it, it lets you, when you play it with another card, lets you do that card twice. So if I double and I did slacking and 2 people did slacking and 2 people did doubling, I'll double this and get 4 victory points. Now after everyone has gotten their resources and possible victory points, then starting with the first person, you may buy exactly 1 card. There are 4 cards in a row. There's a stack of cards that will be used during the first 2 eras of the game. In the 3rd era of the game, this second row will be used. Each card has a cost on it. So this card here, the pickaxe, you can see it costs 2 food and 1 stone. It's going to be worth 1 point at the end of the game, but it also gives you the ability, whenever you do quarrying, you get an extra stone. Well, that makes sense. Or a fishing rod, whenever you do cunning, you get an extra resource of your choice. Again, very useful. This one, this gives a cool special ability, the hideout. When the order phase, you can play both cards face down, and that's worth 2 victory points. So there's all sorts of cool cards in this game. You can see here's school, where you pay 1 resource less when you buy things. Here's the wheel. When you do trading, you get an extra resource of the same type. School here at the end of a turn, when you bought no ideas, these are called ideas, you get 2 free resources. Once per turn, when you do an action, that only one person does. If you're the only person in action, you get a free resource. Sometimes these cards will affect if one person plays the card, or if two people play the card, or if three people play the card. This one here, you can look at the top card and buy that card instead of that one. Here's a dagger. Once per turn, when you steal from someone, you get a point. It makes me feel good to steal. And then, as we go into the last era of the game, these cards get a lot more expensive, but they're also worth a whole lot more points. Here you can see vegetarianism costs a lot of food, but gives 4 happiness. Sellout. So sometimes they give special abilities, but these, mostly in the third round, are simply just to get victory points. Or here, you get 2 victory points if you have the most houses. Each of the different ideas is a certain color/type. So this is a building type, here's a highway, and here you get 2 if you have the most of another type. So there's different cards here. And again, after you do this for 9 rounds, 3 rounds in each of the era, you will add up all the points you have for these. You will add up the points that you have for the different cards here. And if there's a tie, whoever has the most resources wins. There's also a way to play this with 2 players where you have a third person basically that you're playing cards from. But that's how the game works. Now you can see that CVlizations here. First of all, I do like the artwork on this. It has almost a silly cartoon history of the world style. Hey everybody! You know, and the ideas are all kinds of ideas. You can say that's a good idea or a bad idea, but there's lots of ideas in the game. The game itself is a civilization game. I don't know that I feel like I'm building a civilization. I'm just trying to get cards. It's more of a tableau building game where you're getting cards in front of you that are worth points and give you special ideas. But the main focus of the game is playing those cards. Playing a card and trying to match one other person or not match too many people.
Playing cards at the right time.
What do you think about that?
I like it because I think it's cool how if you have like those special cards that give you the special ability, if you play like with a certain amount of people, well, that was a mouthful, like you use that ability, either you want less, like depending on what you're gonna do, or more, like you just have to like try to figure out other people what they're going to do to play your card at the right moment.
One thing I didn't mention during the rules explanation, this is pretty important, is that when you play these cards at the end of a round, you don't get them back. So you're going to play 2 cards, and then you have 6 cards left for the next round. You play 2 cards, then you have 4 cards left, and you play 2 cards. Then at the end of an era, you get your cards back. So you can say, okay, wait a minute, I know Melody played Steel before. So there's only 3 people left with Steel. And he played one face up. There's no way that person played their face down card as a Steel card. So I'll play my Steel card. So that the other person thought the same thing. Going last is kind of an advantage because you can see what everyone else has done. At the same time, you can't see every card. You like that, putting the card face down?
What I had was place both cards face up, and then I get like something. I think it was a resource I didn't have. And you had the both face down one.
Yeah, I like the both face down. It's like, of course, if you go last, it doesn't mean anything. My cards are both face down, and I flip them face up. But the gameplay is really smooth. And the game's it's not very long. It's 45 minutes. I mean, and it ends, and it's essentially just playing the cards, seeing what other people do.
You can pick up on the game really fast. You learn how to do it, and you keep going.
Right, and those special ability cards, you only have to look at the 4 that are out there. As soon as one is taken, a new one comes out, but they're not like really weird special abilities. They're things like, you get an extra resource when you play this card.
Like if someone buys a card that you want, the next card could be similar to it.
Right. Now, she does bring up a point. That 9th round is pretty important because you want to buy a victory point card so that you win the game if possible, and someone may buy the one you need. But you gotta have the resources.
Like if you want to have like a set of certain amount of cards, like certain cards in the set, and then he buys a card that has that symbol you want, and the next card doesn't have the symbol. I know that happened to me.
What do you think about the stealing? Some people won't like that because it's a little mean. But I think it works well, especially if you double the stealing.
How many times did I do that? Like
that's not the point. The point is, but I mean, I think that's interesting. And so you cannot steal the whole game if you want to. It could be one of the 2 cards you don't play. And it's not devastating when someone steals from you. Again, you want to try to plan to have different resources.
That double card is also pretty powerful if you play it correctly. Like, if you want to get resources and you have the double card, and then someone else also does the resources, which basically, like, quadrupled how many you're getting.
Right. Yeah, you can get a whole ton of resources. I really like this game. This is a straight-out, just You're thinking about what everyone else is going to play. You're doing this. You're grabbing resources and using those resources to buy cards. Very simple concept. And we've seen the thing before where if you play a card and other people play the card, different things happen. But this one does it in a very clean, elegant style. I'm really interested in this game a lot. I like it a lot. That's CVlizations. Dice Tower Judgment. Excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!